Stephen Miller, the Trump advisor and white nationalist, posted this. Yes, we started a new denaturalization project under Trump in 2025, expected to be turbocharged, which refers to this 2020 New York Times article. Justice Department establishes office to denaturalize immigrants. The department called the decision a move, quote, to bring justice to terrorists, war criminals, sex offenders, and other fraudsters, but some lawyers feared there'd be a broader crackdown. The Justice Department said Wednesday that it had created an official section in its immigration office to strip citizen rights from naturalized immigrants, a move that gives more heft to the Trump administration's broad efforts to remove the country's immigrants who have committed crimes. This is what we're on. This is the shit we on. A lot of the Hispanics who voted for Trump are about to find out. Yeah, that he's not just coming from undocumented immigrants. Yeah. Democrats did this? No, this was published in 2020. This was under Donald Trump. The Justice Department was headed by, it's Barr, right? It was Barr at the time? A Barr? Yeah, okay. So no, it's not the Democrats. Democrats have gone pretty far right on immigration, but they are not interested in denaturalization. Well, did the Democrats undo it? Of course not, I expect. Well, no, when the Justice Department was taken over by everyone's favorite Attorney General, Garland, they didn't pursue this policy or develop it. But they're only talking about, wait, did they keep the office? There's no way, right? If anyone has a link establishing whether or not they kept the office, feel free to provide it. Anyway, I think that's why YouTube and other new media streamer content is so important. You know that, there were 10 there was a list published of the top 10 live streams that were covering the election. The top 5 of them had higher ratings than any legacy media channel, and almost all of them were right-wing. The only left-wing one that I remember was Hassan Piker. That's it. But there were the ratings were millions and millions on Candace Owens, that kind of thing. Carrie Lake lost. That's nice. This one? Yeah, this is the media environment we're in. Bongino, right-wing. Steven Crowder, right-wing. Hassan, undetermined. PBD podcast, probably right-wing based on the thumb, though no. Charlie Kirk, right-wing. Benny Johnson, right-wing. Zach Rar, no idea. Charlie Kirk, right-wing. Tucker Carlson, right-wing. Tim Castiro, right-wing. While the Democrats have been sleeping, the right has completely, won the entire alt-media sphere. Joe Rogan, that's Asmongold? Oh, right-wing. Literally all of it, right-wing, except for Hassan. That's it. Hassan is a big fish in the left streamer space, but in the overall streaming space or the overall alt political content creator coverage space, he's just another big fish. It's because all the money being poured into media? Yup! Republicans, Russia, who cares? They dump money into these people. All of them have connections. Steven Crowder has massive multi-million-dollar financial corrections. The Daily Wire, hundreds of millions run through it. Bongino, basically everyone there, also enormous amounts of money. PBD podcast, again, whatever. Charlie Kirk, TPUSA, he's literally been on stage with Trump a million times. Benny Johnson, likewise, direct connections. Asmongold, I think, is kind of on his own, but, he clearly doesn't need the help. Likewise with all of them. How many official Democrat connections does Hassan have? And I know what some of you might be saying. Some of you might be saying, okay, well, to be fair, how can you expect them to directly connect with Hassan when Hassan is always shit-talking the Democrats? I'm going to put out something a little crazy. Maybe give him less to shit-talk you over? The right wing constantly kowtows to its populist base. The Republican Party, they constantly cede ground so online neo-Nazi freaks have something to enjoy in their party. The Democrats don't budge a inch. The State Department is still... Just yesterday, the State Department was saying, what country has done more to help the people of Gaza than us? Are you insane? No wonder alt media isn't covering the Democrats positive. What are you giving them? You don't work with them. You don't bend to them. You don't give them any well, then congratulations. Democrats almost exclusively break news on mainstream media. Anyone's watching NBC anymore. Democrats break their news. They do their interviews they barely engage with alt media. So alt media on the left-hand side is starved. I'm one of the biggest figures in alt left-leaning media. And I am insanely unprofessional. Hassan is the largest. And he is also, by the standards of this space, relatively unprofessional. That's not a dig. I think it's better that way. But meanwhile, you have these highly organized suit and tie alt Republicans who are just neo-Nazis getting quiet funding. It's just another component of the brain rot of liberalism. The belief in institution, no matter what evidence is provided against it. The belief that because, like, 50 years ago, CNN was the most trusted name in news, it must still be. The idea that the best way to win over in an era where no one trusts establishment media, young people barely vote, and when they do, they're apparently turning out, like, almost 50-50 for Trump, that the best way to, like, to win out is to completely shaft alternative media and just exclusively pay attention to a consultant class of pundits and broadcasters who are ultimately beholden to their billionaire masters. Right-wing marketers knew this and pumped money. Yep. Yorp. Surely this time they learned something. Yeah. Republicans celebrate by admitting they can't wait for Project 2025. Yeah. Another lesson liberals could stand to learn, though they'll probably only apply it, like, when it comes to their treatment of Israel. You can lie. You know, just like a little rhetorical secret there. The only time the Democrats have ever felt comfortable lying is when they're telling us what Israel wants to do with the Palestinians. That's literally it. And even then they can't sell it. Yeah, they're pretty bad at it, too. Look, again, it's not that I'm being salty about, like, where the money's going or anything, but, like, how can you look at this and not understand where the problem is, right? Like, come on. You know? Doesn't lying work because Republican voters are stupid? Everyone's stupid. Why aren't you on there? Yeah, I'm sorry. Vosh talked to Marianne Williamson, didn't he? Truly, I am in the halls of power with that one. All right, but how do we combat infinity money when no one the left funds? I point you again, if I may, to the Bernie Sanders fundraising map. You know what matters even more than money? Popularity. And it's a lot easier to sell the message of, you know, I want free healthcare and unicorns and cupcakes for everyone, than I am Hitler, I am Adolf Hitler, I want worse things for everyone. So we have a kind of natural bias in our favor, but it doesn't matter if the Democrats squash every genuine effort at pushing, like, a popular narrative. And how the f*** are Democrats going to get anyone interested in, like, populist messaging on board when they can't even tell the truth about Israel? It's insane. Like, Democrats conceded so much ground to Netanyahu only for him to be jerking himself off on Twitter once Trump won. You think anything changed? What difference did it all make? What difference? What was the point? What was the point of shifting right on the border? Everyone who voted based on the border voted Trump. No one voted based on their fear of, like, immigration being an issue for Kamala Harris. Do you think if leftists came out loud and mad against the deportation scheme, we could pull Dems left? Don't ask me questions like this. There is no left. The left project in this country is done. It is represented as, it stands in a marsh like the ruins of a Roman settlement. There are a few posters, a few content creators maybe, but it's done. Maybe in the future something is revived. Nothing ever really ends. But, like, understand what moment you're living in here, okay? So what do? Live through it? It's a long winter. The result of all of Kamala's placating. I don't know why we lost. We spent $50 billion and the last, like, 2 months of our campaign, like, campaigning with Liz Cheney. Why didn't that convince more registered Republicans to vote Democrat? This sounds like you're giving up. That's because you're dumb. No, I'm sorry, I shouldn't be mean. Understand what moment you're in, okay? Rosa Luxemburg was shot and dumped in a river because the people she worked with didn't understand what moment she lives in. I'm not saying give up. I'm saying understand what you're capable of doing and then do the best within those circumstances, okay? That's not giving up, okay? There are lots of people who will sell you the moon, a bridge, and a revolution, but based on, like, nothing. How many leftist content creators have been telling you for years now, years and years now, the time for revolution is nigh. Americans are more discontented than ever with the status quo. Now, finally, America will rise up and move to the left. What happened? That's because I don't bullshit you. Well, at the very least, when I get things wrong, I don't own up to it in, like, an ideological basis. I own up to it in a personal basis, right? You know, don't blame me for the fact that, like, maybe you've been oversaturated with... I know that the puppy girls on Twitter are telling you that, like, America needs a revolution now and the ruling class will finally feel the might of the... I know, I get it. We're not there yet. I'm sorry. We're not even close to being there yet. We're not even remotely close to being there yet. We're so far away from being there. Hey, look, Vosh is being patronizing again. Wow, Lily Krem, you learned how to type something that didn't end in a question mark. Yeah, I am being a little bit patronizing because this sentiment is going to keep cropping up. I'm not looking to get you shot and dumped in a river like Rosa Luxemburg. I'm not out here lying to you. I'm not like the people who during the George Floyd protests were like, you know, the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone. Chaz, you know? The American empire is on the cusp of being defeated. The American empire is going to fall any minute now. This is just the beginning. Pockets of civil resistance will erupt all over the United States. I'm not here to sell you the moon. I'm here to tell you what we can do. Right now, I'm really sorry, you don't have your hands in the levers of power. The right wing does. There are the entire cumulative social power of everyone left of center in the United States right now is trumped by 5 to 10 neo-Nazis who are about to be in Trump's cabinet. Like, the power differential is massive. Absolutely massive. So what we need to be concerned with right now is being smart, being calm, being prepared, and working with liberals. Because it's just a numbers thing, man. What happened to all the communists back in like the early 1930s who, what happened to the, KDP? What happened to them? They died. A lot of the SPD got to survive because they were moderate enough that they kept quiet. I don't think we're dealing with a situation that severe, but I'm telling you that drawing lines in the sand with liberals right now is not going to, it's not going to procure good results, okay? You need to understand what time you're working in. The SPD, are you stupid? Seriously, the SPD? Did I mix up the SDP and the SPD again? If you make fun of me for that, you're being ableist. And you're doing a problematic. Yes, you did, but I know what you meant. There we go. See, that's charitability. The SPD in Germany didn't survive because of being moderate, but got into hiding because the SPD got first. That's kind of what I'm saying. I'm not saying you need to be ideologically moderate. I'm saying you need to understand that there's absolutely nothing to gain right now from separating yourself from a liberal survival project. There is like 150 million people in this country who day by day are going to wake up grimacing at whatever news comes from the Trump administration. If you separate yourself from them, you are fighting a lonely fight, and you are not doing yourself many favors. Now, is there a possibility that sometime in the future, perhaps even during this Trump administration, a meaningful, popular, leftist alternative to the Democrats arises? I mean, sure, I can't predict the future. I think we're a while from that, but I think it's possible. I think that we should keep our ear to the ground and be aware of what possibilities may lie in the future. I'm not saying you should go underground forever. I'm saying that you should be careful and bide your time. Does anyone think that's inappropriate rhetoric? I know that a lot of people treat revolution with a kind of suicidal idealism. They see it the same way the Christians see the rapture, where they're like, any day now I'll finally be freed from this mortal toil and I'll be able to die with a Kalashnikov in hand or something like that. And I'm not selling that to you. That's not what I'm here for. I'm not here to sell you bullshit like that. I'm not any of these ass Republicans. Not Hassan included, obviously. He's not a Republican, I think. We can't know for sure who you voted for. I'm kidding. Who are here to tell you, yeah, all your problems are going to be solved when you vote Trump. Trust me, this is like the glorious bigly Make America Great Again revival moment, day of the rope, whatever that you've been looking for. I'm not... yeah, you want a popular front. You want a popular front. I'm just encouraging you to not, if you talk to a liberal, and the liberal is like, man, I miss Barack Obama. Just don't bite their head off about Barack Obama being a stooge to the same institutions that that led to Kamala Harris's defeat because he was unable to meaningfully act in the populist rhetoric that he signaled for a bit but then walked back on, Okay, I understand what you meant now, but this isn't the left is dead. It's trying to compromise with liberals more. Well, no. I don't want you to compromise with liberals ideologically. I want you to understand that there is no political project that the leftists are enacting right now that is distinct from what the liberals will enact that will be successful. Over time, there are two ways this goes. Either we pull liberals left, or more likely, historical material circumstances pull them left, or something distinct is built. But only time will tell which option is more viable. In the meantime, the smarter thing to do is to not be partisan within your own camp. You won't benefit from it. Now is not the time to make additional enemies. You have enough enemies. You have enough enemies, and the enemies that you already have are about to have more power than any group has ever had in human history. They are going to have all three branches of government, both halves of Congress, with absolutely no regard for institutional norms. No group has ever had as much power as they are about to have. The 10 richest people on Earth are about to have basically unfettered control over the keys to power. What if the liberals move to the right? What do we do then? Exactly what I just said. No guarantees are made that the liberals are going to do the right thing. That's kind of what I'm trying to push people towards right now. If you're a leftist, my advice to you is to bide your time and try to pull people to the left. If you're a liberal, my advice to you is to understand what the is happening here and wake up. But there's no point. If the liberals start saying, oh, we need to be less pro-trans or something, that's not my signal to you to go storming your local Capitol building with a gun, okay? I don't want you doing any of that shit. I'm not here to set up flashpoints on what your opera is. We're not inducing code phrases in you guys. okay? You try your best all the time, and then eventually one day, hopefully a while from now, we all die. You've been predicting this since February 2019? That's like the first day I streamed. So were the accelerationists right? No, this is like the greatest possible criticism of their ideology imaginable, actually. The material conditions accelerated, and as a consequence, the fascist won. This is what keeps happening. Accelerationists keep getting proven wrong, like, over and over again. You can't accelerate into a wall and expect the wall to suddenly become a tunnel, a la, like, the Roadrunner, Wile E. Coyote, whatever the you know? You have to build the conditions. Accelerationism is like tossing construction material in the air and expecting the Burj Khalifa. I like that. Rep. Tom Sozi says Democrats have to stop pandering to the far left. He adds, I don't want to discriminate against anyone, but I don't think biological boys should be playing a girl's sport. This guy is going to have more of an impact on Dem policy moving forward than Bernie Sanders is. Of course, to a New York Democrat, yeah. Tentrain, I am a populist, but populism has to be popular. That's kind of the point, you know? I'm just a guy. Admittedly, I'm a guy with a big audience, but even I'm a small fish in a big pond compared to the right-wing media sphere, which has been getting hundreds of millions pumped into it. You know how much money the Democrats have given me? Tens of millions. No, I don't get anything from them. And I don't expect them to give me stuff. I expect them to be pumping money into other, like, left-leaning content creators, or, like, creating institutions or orgs who are maybe a little bit more, like, resist Libby, but still putting out the messaging, you know? Like, isn't that insane? Well, like, think of all the money the Democrats had around to play with. You realize for just 3 or 4 million, they could have, like, created a powerhouse of content creation, right? Through relentless advertising, selecting the right people. But then again, they probably would have fucked that up too, because they would have chosen the wrong people. They would have chosen people like, I don't know, like some broccoli haircutted Zoomer, like Biden stan or whatever. They would have chosen people who would have called me like a Hamas supporter, rather than choosing people who actually spoke to the public. You need the populist edge, and you need... Yeah, they would have gone with blue MAGA people. Do such people exist? Left-leaning populists? They're everywhere. But most of them are kept quiet. Justice Dems? The Democrats have been, like, mostly shutting down. The only Justice Dem who's been getting time in the sunshine is AOC. And that was largely at the end because of the Puerto Rican thing, because she could speak to that, like, controversy. But apart from that, like, not really? Rashida Tlaib got censured. Do you think AOC could be president if she ran? I don't think the DNC would let her be the version of AOC that would win. This is what we need to be covering. Don't tell me what we need to cover, Goob. My parents and older relatives all believe the Republicans are the party of the working class, and I have no idea how to change that perception. I mean, it seems like they are right now, just by voter totals. You have, like, suburbs voting for the Democrats, and every rural area in the country voting more for Republicans. If you go by, like, median income, I wouldn't be surprised if the median income of the Republican voter was lower than that of the Democrat voter at this point. Not mean, but median. They are the party of the working class because the working class is largely stupid, uneducated, and highly susceptible to propaganda. And rural. Yes, Lunaria. They made huge gains with the urban working class too. Yep, a lot of Latino voters. The working class is bigoted, so yeah, it's not really about the working class being bigoted. That's a part of it. I just think it's that the working class is sick and tired of the status quo, and Democrats can't offer anything but the status quo. They're insane. Every Democrat consultant right now is having a meltdown because they can't believe that the person making $33,000 a year in, you know, the rural counties aren't sold on Kamala Harris promising, like, these incremental procedural changes to a system that is fundamentally broken. Educated people like that because educated people pride themselves on being able to understand policy. I understand policy. Most of you understand policy. How smart we are. It really let us. What good was the rule if it led us here? Oh, wow, you understand the technical, how the math works out. Wow, that's great. How'd that work out? We winning? Do you feel like you're winning? Do you feel good about it? Guys, a small voucher on buying a house that'll really sell someone who's budgeting meds because the price of groceries went up. Yeah, notice, by the way, how even when the Dems did something really good, which is lowering the price of prescription medicines, they didn't do it in a way that sounded populist. The policy doesn't matter, the messaging does. They didn't say something like, the greedy pharmaceutical company has stabbed American workers in the back for long enough. We're giving them to you for cheap because you deserve better. Instead, it's, we've been able to negotiate for lower prices, and that's it, basically. There's no narrative. What's the narrative? What, it cost more before and now it costs less? Who's the good guy? Who's the bad guy? Who did you beat? What fundamental change was there?